Next up in our study of small parts in movies with John DiLeo is Ruby Dee's performance in.
American Gangster. Were you testing me, Nick?
No, I forgot myself, so I thought.
Yes, one of the 100 entries in my book, There Are No Small Parts, 100 Outstanding Film Performances with Screen Time of 10 minutes or less. I need a breath after that. Is Ruby Dee in American Gangster from 2007. And there she is on the cover. Yes. Now, I believe 11 of the 100 performances in the book were nominated for an Oscar, despite the fact that they were under 10 minutes long in screen time. And Ruby Dee is one of those, and she'd never been up for an Oscar before. She was in her 80s. Had she won at the time, she would have been the oldest winner in an acting category, but she did not win. She lost to Tilda Swinton and Michael Clayton. She was nominated because she's terrific, and had the role been a little bit longer, maybe if she had a couple more scenes, she probably would have gotten it. And I was rooting for her because she had such an amazing career. It would have been such a crowning moment. And I love her. I love her work. She'd had such a long career, film, television, Broadway, going back to the 50s, No Way Out with Sidney Poitier, Edge of the City with Tony Poitier. She gave a performance that I absolutely love in a little-known movie called The Tall Target from 1951, a pre-Civil War thriller set on a train in which she plays a slave who stands up for herself with great courage. It's a beautiful performance. And then, of course, she has great success with A Raisin in the Sun on Broadway, again with Sidney Poitier on Broadway, and then in the film version, her great partnership with her real-life husband, Ossie Davis, on film, on stage. It's an amazing career, and despite the fact that a performance is only 5 minutes long, it's actually even shorter in the sense that it all comes down to her big showdown with Denzel Washington, who plays her son, who is at that point an extremely successful drug dealer, making millions and zillions. And her scenes before this showdown are, first we see her in North Carolina when she's just living a simple life. Then her son starts making a lot of money. He brings her up north, gives her a fabulous home, and she's basically, we just watch her enjoying the fruits of her son's success without her really knowing too much of anything and not asking too many questions. But the showdown, which only lasts 90 seconds, when she knows everything, and she knows he's about to go out and kill a cop, which she thinks is a terrible idea. She confronts him, and this is an amazing scene of, you can see how it would stop Denzel Washington in his tracks to just listen, and she's tough and loving, but forceful and so definite in what she has to tell him. And she's kind of electrifying and so unpredictable in her effects. You never know what she's going to do. And for those 90 seconds, you could have given her the Oscar right there. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but it's a very good movie. It's a Ridley Scott directed film. It's similar to The Godfather in many ways because it's about organized crime and also family. And Russell Crowe is the narcotics guy on the trail, so it's almost parallel plots. Till Denzel Washington is one of his great performances. I really like this movie a
There's
lot.
not usually as much insight into the moms of the gangsters, though. Like even in Godfather and stuff, like it's a lady sitting someplace, but there's not. You don't know too much about them.
There's a classic case, White Heat from 1949. With Jimmy
I remember. I love that
His
movie.
mother is as psycho as he is, basically, and she's kind of the equivalent of a stage mother in the world of gangsters. But Ruby Dee has a line in that showdown about, I never asked questions because I knew you weren't going to tell me the truth anyway, which is insightful. But she also could probably enjoy it more if she didn't know too much. But then finally it just reaches a boiling point. And I do love her. I love when I get to write about people whose whole career I love. And so you can be very enthusiastic and passionate about just saying, "Look at her, look at her."
Yeah, and Ozzie and Ruby had a really long career.
Yeah. And again, opportunities, of course, as an African American actress coming of age in the 50s, limited in what you can be cast in. And often, like I said, drama's about race, so it's not like you got to play anything you wanted, even though she was so gifted and beautiful and could have played many more things than she was offered.
Was she more on the stage than the
She did a
theater?
lot of theater,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of theater. Yeah, and as I said, a lot with her husband Ozzie Davis, but a lot of stuff with Sidney Poitier. So they were, and then Denzel Washington. Obviously, they had worked together on stage too, and in a play called Checkmates. So I think he probably thought there's no one better to play my mother than Ruby Dee.
Mm-hmm. And were they activists too? Those two?
Yeah. Sure.
I remember them from my youth.
They got the Kennedy Center honors together as a couple, so that's nice, you know. Yeah.
Thank you again, John.
Thank you, Nick.
Another one we have to watch another time and look for the things that you taught us about.
That's right.